And I want to introduce tonight Ann White and the amazing Tindley Gilbert. I wanted them to share a little bit about what they did a couple of weeks ago. They did some really cool things that, again, resulted in 18 enrollments, 5 brand new consultants, energy off the charts, just this growth trajectory that's absolutely mind-blowing. So with that, do I have you, Ann and Tindley?
Hi.
You got us.
Hello.
Hi,
I was talking to these amazing ladies, and Ann White was saying, I said, I'm not going to read a bio for either of you because I want people to hear your story. And Ann, of course, in true Ann White fashion, everybody on the call, drop a 1 if you just know when I say Ann White fashion, what I mean. Drop a 1 for me, just so I know. People know that woman is just good to the core. She said, don't even worry about me. I want them to hear all about Tindley. And guys, I have to tell you, Tindley's story is remarkable. She is one of these women that you need to know her. And when you hear this story, you're going to be like, I want to know everything more about her. So Tindley, welcome to the call. Thank you for doing our team call. I just want to kick us off, and I want you to just share a little bit about your story and your story in Isagenix.
Awesome. Jessica, thank you so much for asking Ann and I to do this call. I think the only thing better than the amazing 72 hours we had together was then getting your, request for us to do a call together, which is just like the sprinkles on the icing on the cake. So I have, I think, a story that is unique to me. So I'll share it. I actually found Isagenix in my life in 2018. I was looking for something to improve my health. I was feeling bloated and tired and had 4 kids and had just moved back from living overseas and was really looking for something different. And honestly, this probably sounds like your story too. I had never heard of Isagenix because, again, I was overseas for 7 years and they weren't in our country. So I had never heard of it. And I didn't know that anyone I knew was doing it except for this woman in my town. So I asked her if I could buy it from her with zero expectation to do the business. I just wanted to look and feel better. This is July 2018. And within 2 months, I was down 25 pounds and feeling amazing. And oh, by the way, I also got my husband on it, and he comes back and around in this story a few times. And he was looking great too. He's probably one of my best poster children. So lo and behold, I had an event where I think 4 people showed up legitimately in 2018. And I slowly built a business. And that went into 2019 when we had Dash to Disney. And if you were around for Dash to Disney, that was when you could earn a trip for your family to go to Disney World. And having 4 kids under the age of 11, I was like, yes, please. And when I first saw the leaderboard, I saw Ann White and Holly Kirsch. And I thought, wait a minute, not my Ann White and Holly Kirsch. So some of you may not know that Ann White and Holly and I know each other from 2013. We were on a girls' trip together for a health retreat, and we had a few of those trips to Cancun. So we met up again in Disney and couldn't believe that we were all doing Isagenix. And life was great. We met up again in the Grand Caymans in 2019, but at that time, my family was having some serious changes in our life. We were moving again to Boston, and I was responsible for selling the house, for finding a new house, for taking care of the kids while my husband lived in a different state and town. And during that time, it was all a lot to manage, and then COVID happened. And so I slowly transitioned out of Isagenix. It just was, for me, a little bit more than I could handle. And then the part of my story, which was a big divergent for me, was that I was, right after I moved to Boston from Connecticut, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so that, on top of moving 4 kids to a new state and town, on top of the pandemic, I was not thinking about much more than just surviving breast cancer. And I honor those who can do a lot of things while they are going through that. But for me, my focus was on my health and my 4 kids and trying to acclimate to a new town at the same time, having surgeries. So I did, I'm very honest and vulnerable about it. I had my double mastectomy. I gained 19 pounds in less than 2 weeks from my double mastectomy. of which I could not shake off. And then I had my reconstruction about 5 months later. And then after that, my whole body was just kind of off. And some of you know this story, but I had some falling incidences and I broke my shoulder over Memorial Day weekend. And it all just seemed like everything just seemed to be piling on. And then during that time, I tried a few other programs. I don't know why. I just thought, well, you know what? My husband during the time would do Isagenix off and on, not, you know, for a month here and there. But I just, you know, I'd been out of it for about 2 years at that point. And I tried some other programs. And then in December, I decided, you know what? December of 2022, I decided this is it. I know one program that works for me, and I'm going to go back to it. I was over my surgeries. I was over my broken shoulder. I was getting back to health and exercise. And I really thought this is the time to focus. And so I called up Holly, Ann, and Erica. And I said, friends, I need to get back in, and I need to get back in. You know, my account had been long gone. I hadn't ordered in a long time. And I need to get it back in with people who are going to keep me accountable. And that's how I ended up with Ann, back with Ann and Holly and Erica, who I'd met, you know, years earlier. And within a month, I'd lost 13 pounds and gotten underneath the 19 pounds I gained after that first surgery. And it was a real mental block for me. Once getting under that original weight, I thought I was kind of getting back to the original Tindley I remembered. And then things just started blossoming again. And then that's when our event started. So that's my journey, a little bit of up and down, some seasons in my life, but that's me, you know, that's who I am. And I embrace them.
Okay. So an amazing story, and just commendation for you, just being so incredible, weathering so many storms, such changes and such seasons of your life. You're amazing. So you connect with this incredible energy in Ann, and that really works. And she's talked a little bit about how Ann then gets you restarted, reacclimated. So what does Ann say? If you don't mind,
oh my gosh, well,
walking us through that.
Yeah, I don't have enough tissues around. You know, Ann is the bright light that we all need in our life, right? And I tell TC, I'm just jealous that she has her to herself all the time. And I said to Ann and Erica and Holly, but then Ann really reached back out to me and said, you know what, I'm going to take you under my wing. Holly and Erica and I have decided and I said, okay, Ann, I just really want to focus on losing the weight. She's like, I know, but you can do the business again. And I was like, yeah, I'm not sure really that it's for me. I also work as a consultant. I was like, I'm not really sure. And Ann just poured belief into me, Jessica. She said, but the best part about Ann, and I think that this is important for leaders, is she met me where I was at the time. She said, okay, let's get you to health. Like your number one goal, I kept on saying to her, my number one goal is to get healthy again. And then if that leads back to the business, great. But I want to be a product of the product. And she met me where I was at the whole time. And so I got my box, and she said, great. Do you want to share? And I was like, you know, I don't know if I want to share again. I don't know. I mean, I loved it before, but my life is so different now. And Ann just kept meeting me where I was and checking in. And then once I was down 5 pounds, and then I was down 7 pounds. And then I had 2 friends who wanted to sign up. So now I'm a consultant. And she's like, okay, Tindley, I think you've got something here. And so we started talking about March as a time where maybe she could come out, but I had this vacation, which I just got home from last night. And she said, how about I come out over, around February? And I said, let's do a Valentine's event. And then it just kind of snowballed. Mm-hmm. But I think the thing is that she met me where I was at, but she saw in me a spark that I'd kind of lost, and even, I'm just going to be honest, even today when we spoke on the phone, I was like, oh, I'm so happy to touch the Ann White stone. It's like a touchstone. So I think
I love that. I love that. So what I'm hearing, and as you're recounting this history, is one, it's timing. So you guys, you may have people that are in your organization, maybe they've done well and they were sidelined by some major life stuff. They could come back and be a Tindley Gilbert. That's the first thing. And then I love what you're saying about being a source of encouragement and light for people. And then even she asked you to do it. You were like, I don't know, but she came back and said, I see this. She kind of held a mirror up to you to say, I see this.
Yeah.
And do you mind popping in and just tell kind of this story from your perspective? Just, you knew Tindley, you knew what she was capable of. I'd love to just hear your input on just that whole timing concept.
Well, if I need some tissue too. You know, again, just when you know somebody's heart, and we had so many great conversations, and it was more just kind of listening. And like Tindley said, meeting her where she was at. We already knew, Erica, Holly, and I, and Jessica already knew what Tindley is capable of. Tindley just didn't believe in herself. She had lost her, she said that. I mean, she lost her confidence, her magic that she felt, but we kept pouring belief into her because I've known her for 10 years. So that was a gift that God gave to us to be able to help with Tindley. And the magic started when, you know, as we continued the conversations, and then God brought two people that were ready for her. And it was kind of like, okay, are we doing this? And then I go, girl, let's just have a fun event. Let's just have some fun because we wanted to be together. So whether anybody came or not, I knew I was going. We were going to have some fun. And then, like Tindley said, it just kind of started snowballing.
Yeah.
And she got definitely her mojo back.
Yes.
That was for sure. Those 3 days were the most magical 3 days. I want to go back to it too. And that's what I pray for all of you guys.
I love this. Okay. So Tindley, you know that Anne's coming. So then tell us about what you plan. Because a lot of people are wondering, tell me about events. Like, how do I do this? So what do you plan as Anne's coming?
Sure. So, and I do want to say one quick thing, Jessica, which is the thing about Anne, Holly, and Erica is that even when I wasn't part of their business, and I think this is important for everybody, they stayed in touch with me as friends through my whole journey, through everything. They didn't see me as a business opportunity. They saw me as friends. And so the genuine authenticity, you know, was really important. Okay. So back when she said she was going to come, she said, how long should I come for? And I just know, so this is I wrote down like some of my top messages for tonight. And one of them is know your audience. I know my audience. I have kids ranging from 8 to 15. I know that I work, some other people work. So what I wanted to do, and I'm in a new town. So what I wanted to do is have events that could match various moments. So I wanted a lunch event. I wanted an evening wine champagne event, and I wanted a coffee event. So what I said to Anne is, would you be willing to come out for 3 events? We'll do them over 2 days. And then my church has this thing called Pick Your Party. So as we were talking about how to name it, we came up with the Pick Your Party. So it really put the ball in a lot of the invitees' court. They could come once, they could come 3 times. And that's how I opened it up to them, very casual. And Anne was like, yes, I'll come out the night before, I'll stay. So that was on a Wednesday night, I'll stay till a Friday afternoon, and we'll just do as much as possible. And one thing I want to say is you can amortize your expenses for the party. People are like, I can't believe you threw 3 parties. I was like, I wish I threw 5. I mean, once you buy all the things, then you're just reusing them, right? You've already set up your room. So know your audience. I knew I had some people that could come after working out on Thursday. I knew that some people could only come at 9 p.m. at night. So we stayed out late, you know, and it was all at my house.
Okay. So you have it at your house, and then tell us about what you do to prep.
Okay. Well, not as much as I think I should have. To prep, I made sure I had enough isogenics food, and I did have a lot. Okay. You know, Anne and I met like the week before, and she's done way more events than I have. So we talked about how it would look, how we would set it up. And who remembers the call about opening up your storefront? That was 3-4 weeks ago. That was the week of our party. We were trying to decide if we were just going to do a collagen party, or actually we had space to have collagen and then have everything else laid out. And we decided to have everything else laid out. And I just want to say that was a winning strategy, especially with this 20% PIBs. You don't have to focus on one product. You don't have to focus on one pack. We had people picking and choosing. It was great. So we talked about how we wanted to lay it out. I did go, I'm a little bit of a party freak, and I did go to Party City and got a ton of stuff. But I do think, and that's one of the things I wrote down, make it festive, make it an event. Everybody was so happy to have some place to go. And I want to say that events are so special right now because people are looking for connection. Just like the gentleman said, 4 weeks ago, everybody wants to be connected. We're humans. And so that's how we prep for it. And then the other thing is, the party prep can be part of your business expenses, right? So I made sure I had the food there. I made sure it was festive. I made sure that it was themed, right? You've got a St. Patrick's Day coming up. Do a St. Patrick's Day party. There's nothing stopping you. Do a spring fling. And then the other thing is that I was very nervous. Some of you may remember I posted on Push Your Limits about how I wanted to maybe cancel because I was just so nervous. And Anne showed up Wednesday night and was like, I got this. So the other message is lean on your leader, borrow someone else's belief, lean on someone who's done it before, because they know, together you can create a really fabulous setup.
Yep. I love it. Okay. So now you have the setup, you have Anne's confidence. Talk about inviting. That's a big thing that people need to learn, the art of inviting to events.
Okay. My number one message is do not prejudge. If I could tell you the 18 people that enrolled, how many of them I would have chosen before to have enrolled, it would have been a very small number, right? You don't know what's going on in someone else's life. You don't know what they're looking for. And how many people enrolled their husbands? I mean, I think like 4 people enrolled they're like, oh, my husband needs this. So that is the first thing. The second thing is I did personal invites and I did a lot of them. Now, I didn't do an Evite because I feel like sometimes that can feel impersonal. Yeah. So what I told Anne is I have like 5 or 6 different really strong groups based on the kids, their activities, our church. And I just sent it out, the invitation, either to the whole group, a group chain, and then I individually reached out to people. It was a lot of work. I mean, but worth it. I just sent the invite out. And then the day before I sent reminders, can't wait to see you tomorrow night. Oh, maybe I could come in the evening. Great. We'll be here. So I really think the personal outreach is important, but I thought the invitation, and by the way, did the invitation, we talked about it and she designed it. The pick your party, I think made it relaxing for people. And the last thing I want to say, and I think it depends on your group. I'm new here, right? I've only lived here 2 years. People don't know me super well. So I made it a Galentine's party. Please come. There will be a gift bag at the end. And, I just want to share with you what I've been doing. And the other thing that's important, Jessica, talking about being a product of the product, I was out and about. I had lost 13 pounds and you could tell. Now I just came back from vacation, so don't judge right now. But I was out and about and people had seen that I had lost weight and was glowing from collagen. And so they showed up and brought friends.
So you invite them personally. I love this part. Yes. Do you follow up with people like the day before and tell them you can't?
Well, I talked about it a lot. So honestly, thank you for asking that. I see people a lot when I'm dropping my kids off at activities or we had some dinner parties, I just want to make sure you're coming. But by the way, we don't have to make it weird. It was like, stop by. I just want to see you. I'm going to have, I'm not going to lie. We had champagne out for every single event or sparkling wine. Come, let's share a glass of water, wine, juice, whatever you want. Let's just spend some time together. I made it super casual. In fact, I'll never forget when the first person showed up. I thought, oh my gosh, I think it was Lindsay, Anne. And I remember thinking, this is not anyone I thought would come, nor buy. And how are we going to engage her? And she was so happy just to be there. And she became a consultant.
What in the world? Okay, guys, do you hear what Tindley's saying? I mean, she's talking about this invitation where she made it fun. And not that I don't mean to put the emphasis on the alcohol is fun, but she made it this cool, fun. Hey, I've seen people doing protein and Prosecco. They've done cocktails and collagen. They've done painting parties, how to make a charcuterie board parties. They've done something to make it fun, to create some allure. And it sounds like a lot of people are just looking for some social it's gatherings right now. I just
Yeah.
want to hang out. Let me out of my house. Let's do this. So I love that you did that. I do think a really big key, the fact that she was out and about, one of the keys that I found, I've watched Erica Rothenberger become she actually shows me as the master at this. She writes you again that more. She writes you to remind you several times and then say like, I can't wait to see you in the morning. You were doing it in person. You were seeing people at Carline or whatever you're describing. But Erica always, if she tells me about an event, she lets me know a week in advance, like, hey, this event's going to be great, making sure you have it on your calendar. And then that day she's writing me, go, I can't wait to see you at the event. 3:00, be there, be square. Love you. Do you need a ride? So that to me is the key. You want people showing up. You got to remind people they're busy. So I love what you were doing. And Anne, what's your perspective on some of the, besides what you did with Tindley, you are the queen of events at your boutique and all over Indiana and really everywhere. So what are some of your top tips for a successful event?
Well, again, I just got back from an event. So we did one at our store tonight. I would say, again, listening to what Tindley's saying, when you're inviting people, this was huge for Tindley's. Have them bring friends. This is how she created, I think it was 5 or 6 consultants. They brought friends with them. They were all like, she talked about the groups. This was huge. It was really fun, and the momentum, because then they had people to hang with and other people had people, and then everybody was kind of talking and meeting. But then with these events, we did not enroll them right there. We got everybody's information. I think that's important to remember when you're doing events, because we wanted to kind of see, we knew certain friends that came with certain friends, but some knew each other. And so we were able to kind of, hey, Leslie brought Brenda and Jeannie, and all of them are enrolling. So we were creating, that's where all those consultants came from. So Tindley made sure people were coming with friends as well from those groups. So that was instrumental in her hitting Crystal Director. Within those 2 days, she made over $3,000, you guys. She had 5 cycle bonus, a 1-star bonus. She had 18 enrollments were part of it, but 8 were hers. And then other people that brought their friends. So it's really, Tindley has just dropped the mic on all of that. Events, we know, are everything. And then having a leader with you, I think, was really important when you are beginning, because I was the closer, there's no doubt there. And I think that was key, because, they all were ready. They were excited. It was momentum. And again, when you got that going, I was like, okay, come on, let's go sit down. Let's talk. Let's get this done. It wasn't like, and I was keeping Tindley. Okay, that gal keeps talking too much more. We're moving on to this other one. It was a great momentum. So do it together. Like Mia just had a big event and had several leaders there. It's just, that helps. So include the team, include other people with your events. When we host events in our store, we invite several different builders. Bring your team. It just causes that momentum and energy.
Can I add to that really quickly, Jessica? There's a couple things Anne did that were instrumental. All of what Anne did was instrumental, but first of all, she ensured that we got everyone's social security number. She is the closer on getting social security numbers. And she just says, listen, you're going to want to get your products paid for. So just give this to me now, and you're going to be happy in the end. And that actually made a huge difference. And I just have to say that I used to always be anxious about asking people for that. And Anne made it so seamless and not weird. And the other thing is, we had a couple team members there who were already consultants, and they shared their stories. And then my husband walked out of his office, and he's just like I said, he lost 20 pounds, and he being there was also very helpful. So to Anne's point, having other people's perspectives, you don't know, but who's going to relate to you. The last thing I just want to say is, Anne, we set up a table, And I kind of kept the social aspect together, Anne did too. But when it came time to sit down and get everybody's information, Anne was like, these are the 8 things I need. And it really helped. We tag teamed. I thought it was really helpful.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay. So the other thing I want to point out to anyone on this call that's thinking like, gosh, it seems like a lot. Tindley's describing how you wanted to cancel. You were like, oh, I'm nervous about it. Anne comes in and Anne could walk. You could tell Anne in 5 minutes, we're having an event. Can you show up? She'd be there and be like, yeah, I'll host it. So there's a continuum. You get better and they get more exciting. But when you see how one works, I see Brandy in the comments going, do it now. Because she's another person who builds a lot through events and community. I think I'm hearing a couple things. I love when you're talking about people sharing their stories, because I will tell you guys, we used to host an event Denise Wiggins, if she's on the call, will tell you every Monday night in my basement. For a very long time, we hosted an event every Monday. And the biggest part of why people said yes was that we had a couple people get up every week and share their story. If you were at those parties, drop a 2. If you were at my house on a Monday night, drop a 2. So those worked really well, but it's the personal, other people sharing their story, even if it's you sharing your story, tell people why, because when they hear the passion in your voice, they hear the passion in other people's voice, they go, oh, I'm in. Yeah. And so, and what would you say if someone wants to, like, you know what, I think I'm going to invite some people over on this Sunday. What do they need? What would you tell them? Like, these are the things that you need. You could host a pop-up one if you have X, Y, and Z.
Right. So I'd say the biggest thing, and you don't need it to be over the top. If you're just saying, I'm having a coffee and collagen on Saturday or a healthy happy hour on Sunday, invite the neighbors. Just come on over, just like Tindley was saying. And enjoy. I mean, let them know, obviously, what they're coming for. If you're calling it coffee and collagen, you know. So I say an island is set up. If you don't want to do a storefront, and again, like I helped Emily Dickerson, it was like, she was just starting out. It was like, collagen, just have the presentation pretty. A crystal bowl with ice, with collagen samples in it. Little shooter glasses. Guys, remember, you do not have to give somebody a full collagen. That's $4. You can get 3.5 samples out of one. We did that all day and night long. Pour in little pretty pink shot glass, have people sample and taste. You could have, if you decide to do a mixer elixir, nootropic in a crystal bowl, adaptogen elixir in a crystal, and collagen. Have those set out, have pretty frames with, the information about the adaptogen, the nootropic, and the collagen. Little sample cups there, some balloons. Literally go to the dollar store. It's not going to cost you a lot. You can have some Prosecco and maybe some cupcakes, or don't spend a lot on food. People don't need that. Tindley had a ridiculous amount. It was super fun. It was amazing. But when I host things like that at our store, we might have some cheese and crackers and some wine or some water. People are there, but you then have the opportunity to have a slideshow. You don't need a lot, but what you do need is belief, posture, confidence, and ask, and make it fun. And, sometimes nobody really wants a presentation. Like if you've got a group of people, I've been at Annie and Susie's, they've had 5 or 6, people are talking, you have people telling stories, you're just keeping the momentum going and having fun with it, but getting to the point, ask. You don't want everybody leaving and you haven't really talked about collagen, right? Get them to sample. So those would be the things I would say if you want to do a full storefront. I tell you, that was huge, but Tindley had 3 parties. And I do have to tell you guys, I was shocked because I was the one saying to Tindley, no, let's just keep it simple. After Joel McNinch's, I was like, let's go for the storefront. We did, everybody bought different things. So keep that in mind. I was surprised and I was very happy that I listened to my heart, and Tindley and I decided to do that.
So there's another kind of lesson in this, is that you brought up Joel McNinch. So here's Anne, and she says to her teammate, her team member, let's host a party. You may, and Tindley was she already understood the builder conversation, but you may have somebody, and you may have someone on your team who's just using the product and loving it. And that whole paid to party concept. Would you share a little bit about what people could do with their people who are loving the product, what they could ask them?
Yeah, you think about people love, especially not everybody wants to host a gathering of the goddess. I love to call it something like that, making it fun. But if you have somebody that loves the product, ask them, hey, can I come? Can we do this together? Can you invite your friends in? I would love to help share that for you and introduce and help people feel as good as you. Let's bless them. You don't have to do a darn thing besides bring the peeps in. You got me. We're going to have some fun. And let's share this amazing products with your friends and help them feel as good as you. And they know they got me. They're not there, and I'm coming in like Tindley and I put it. We love to set it up. That's fun. So just ask, you guys. Just ask. All they can do is go, no way, or I don't want to, or ghost you. So if you don't ask, it's never going to happen. And guess what? Those people don't know what they don't know. And then they have 10 friends and everybody enrolls. Those 10 are going under them. And they're going to be creating consultants. And all of a sudden they just made $500, $1,000. They might change their tune. What do you guys think?
I love it. Paid to party. You get 20% of whatever people buy. It's a fun social gathering. People love it. And I just think there's so much to be said about the community that you create. That's another thing, is that people come, and Tindley talked about her first guest. She came, she doesn't even think she's going to buy. She becomes a consultant, plugs into this awesome energy and community, gets exposed to Anne. And then to leaders on this call, people, anybody who has consultants building under them. I think the other lesson I'm taking from this is we got to get out in the field. I remember saying that to you, Anne, after you guys had this electric energy, this growth, this Tindley's belief in herself soaring, this confidence, and all this business activity. It just told me, leaders, and I'm looking at all of us, we need to get out into the field in our team. I want to be there in the field. I remember, Ashley DeChico and I fly into Brandy and Jeff Brokaw and them doing events. And I don't know, Brandy, you might say like that was a really good way to launch you guys into another. You were already growing like crazy. They had a huge people. They planned all these events in a couple of days. We did exactly what Ann did. And I just think that was such a good thing. I remember, Erica, you going to see Evan and all the people and just getting in living rooms with people. It's your team. It's a big deal. It's an absolutely awesome deal. So I just think you guys, we have some really great ideas here. Tindley is absolute proof positive. It's about timing. It's about being asked more than one time. It's about believing in people before they're sure they're ready to believe in themselves. It's about epic leadership in Ann White. Just her energy transmitting. You guys, we have this incredible energy. You know what you have a hold of. A lot of people don't know it. Getting in living rooms and saying yes to doing it. I remember just hearing people say about doing it afraid. You got to do it afraid. The first time I ever hosted an event, I felt like Tindley. Can I cancel this? I remember saying to Denise, actually, I'm going to leave you and just tell you this one quick story that, I'm so inspired because Anne does events and she shows up looking like this and she's amazing. The first time Denise and I had just gotten started in Isogenics and we heard people talking about how events were really great. And I don't know if Denise remembers this story, but so I'm like, Denise, I invited a lot of people. She's like, me too. We invited a whole bunch of people. Guys, me and Denise in my basement, we're all ready to go. We're like, any minute people should be coming. Not even my dog walked downstairs. No one showed up. Not one person. Not even the dog. Like usually the dog would come down. Like, no, he wanted us to understand it was a zero attendance. So Denise and I talked and we're like, this stuff's awesome. Let's do this again. It was kind of embarrassing. Nobody came, but let's do it again. Maybe people didn't get it. Maybe it went to spam. Okay. So we kept doing it. And I don't know, Denise, how many people came the next week? Like, I think Barb Kernan was like, I'll come and I'll bring, she brought her neighbor. So, okay, now we've doubled attendance. And honestly, there was a time when we kept doing them. We just kept doing them when I didn't feel like it, doing them when my kids had activities, just doing them. And there were times when I remember John Walsh and Tracy May going out in my shed, getting extra chairs. It was standing room only. People were in every corner of my basement, all open. People were in every corner to hear. And it would be enrollments. Like when Tindley was describing how he'd have people enrolling, another person that did a huge events, Adrian McGovern and Bridget Roccabaldo, literally, I remember it just being like, we had to all be like, can you help enroll these people? Help them get started. It was so crazy, gangbusters of enrollment. So I'm seeing a lot of people on here who've done events. I'm seeing a lot of people who've never done an event. I want to just encourage you, whichever camp you're in, let's just get one on the books. If you're willing to commit to doing an event, seeing this grow, seeing this belief, look at how Tindley's growing now. Look at how she's glowing now. If you're committed to it, will you drop a 3 in the chat? And let's just get a ton of events. I know we have a big one coming up on March 26th, a great amount of people, Denise, Erica, Ashley, Kristen Jenkins, Jamie Lynn Curley. I'll be there. There's only 25 tickets left for that event, but that's a super Sunday. Guys, do a super Sunday. Invite a leader. I mean, Brandy Brokaw, Jeff Brokaw, they invite tons of leaders. Come into Houston. You know how many people say yes? I'm sure people say no, but do you know how many people say yes? They host awesome events. They invite other leaders. Hey, will you fly to us? And other leaders might have people in your town. But yeah, I'll come and do a super Sunday with you. And you do a lot of the legwork, find the place. By the way, there's a lot of really cool places that want to do events with you. That's another thing. Tindley did them at her home, but you know somebody who owns a boutique, like my girlfriend, one of my best friends owns a boutique here in my town. She'll do events with me anytime I want. What, you'll bring people into my boutique who want to buy things, who see my merchandise, get the word out about my boutique. I know that if Lisa Travis is on this call, her and Jen Brill did a huge event. Lisa owns a big salon in Dayton, Ohio. They did a great event. You don't think they want to do events? People that own salons, people that own boutiques, that own gyms, that want to do a free workout. Maybe you collaborate with someone who's looking to get exposure for their business, a photographer who will come and do free headshots for people just to get their name out. There's so many different cool ideas. Don't let the brain drain shut you down, though. Don't let fear shut you down. I want Tindley, you to be just an example to people of how you do it afraid. Even if you want to shut it down, you do it afraid. And if there's an event you want to do, reach out to someone who lives near you or even who doesn't live near you and say, would you consider doing an event with me? And if not, you're going to do it yourself.
Hey, Jess, I have something I'd like to see if it's okay if I add,
Please.
I literally just walked in the door, you guys, from an event at Chrissy's. Chrissy LeBlanc lives in my neighborhood. And Jeff and I were working on a project. And last second, I look at myself and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be at this event. So y'all, I just like threw my hair up and said a little prayer, went over there, and there's like 10 people there. Chrissy couldn't get her, like the computer thing working. Jeff was busy, so he couldn't come be our savior tonight. In our electronic that was failing us. But, we just made the best of it. We passed our phone, we had fun. We had everybody sitting in just a circle. We didn't have any kind of anything else going on outside of everybody got to try collagen. And, we did have the triple elixirs out. And we talked about, we had the 7-day as a sneak peek of what this really could do. But I can tell you the main thing going through my head was get to know the people, know their stories, and do not leave here tonight, Brandy, without, like Ann said, close the people, ask them, tell them. And it was funny because I'm standing behind Christy and there was this lady and she was like she's like, oh my gosh, yes, I need this. And I'm like, yes, you do. And like, you've got to get this super mix. And, and Christy's about to send her link and I'm behind her going, do it now. Do it now. Don't send the link. She's here. She's hot. She's ready. Do it now. And then I said, and offer her, listen, event to event to event. If you want to track your business to high places and go far, think about how many events are you like, challenge yourself, go on a challenge to do 10 events this next month, get ready, say, hey, I'm in a challenge. I need to do these events. Can I borrow you and your people that I will give you free stuff. I'll give you my firstborn child, whatever it is. I just got to hit this challenge. And I left tonight going, okay, so everybody, we had 100% people sign up, 100% people bought stuff, 100% people said, listen, if I can get some free stuff, I will help you. I was like, would y'all help Christy? We're expanding. She needs to get her next event where she's getting in front of people. She's practicing this. She's getting better in public doing this, and everybody said, yes, of course we'll help you. We know a couple people. So at the end of the day, you guys, it does not have to be fancy. It just has to be intentional. And you're asked, just like Ann said, knock it out of the park, you know, because you don't have, if you don't ask. So that is the key that I wanted to add, because literally running in the door, so excited, my hair literally on fire, looking like it is. But at the end of the day, I'm excited because guess what? Christy's excited. We sat in a little circle, and then I split the circle up and I showed them how we all have 2 legs. Everybody has 2 legs. And I showed them the value of sharing. And so they caught that seed that was planted, and they could see how that would look if we all linked arms and went together and at this and took it to the moon. So some people are going to do it. Some people aren't, but they all said yes to the product. Right. And so they all said, yes, you can borrow me if you get something for free. Everybody wants something for free. Everybody wants to feel special, and everybody wants to be heard. So when you just make it that simple and not worry about sometimes the foo-foo, don't let that hold you back, but just keep going, press in. And Christy did too. She last minute, she's like, Brandi, I don't know if anybody's coming. I said, well, if we have an audience of 1, we have all we need. So that is the main thing. Don't give up. Don't stop. Don't, you know, shy away or, you know, dumb it down for the one person in the room because they showed up for you. Right? You go all out for that one person in the room, like there are 100 people there. So that's what I wanted to add, because I'm so proud of Christy LeBlanc, and, you know, and just her stepping out. You know, she's always struggled with anxiety, but she just kept the course. She just kept the course. And, you know, it's so nice to have this community and people. And yes, I remember that day when Ashley and you came, Jess, and all I knew was I said, I don't know, but these people are crazy. They're going to get on a flight and they're going to come here. I need to pack this room out. I don't even know what this is about, really. I just got my box in, but all I knew is that you get people in front of the information and they can decide. And I knew that what I saw was real, and that it meant everything to me for Jessica and Ashley. And then we had that connection that day with meeting Lindsay, driving. And so you guys, this experience gets sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. The more you stay consistent, the more you stay plugged in, the more you stay sure, the more you stay product of the product. It's hard to keep it a secret, and it's hard not to do it. So I just wanted to add that. Thanks, Jess. It just was like, okay, too good not to share.
Drop the darn mic. That's it. Queen of events right there. We have so many people who are great at events. And then the last thing, I want to just end with this. I know that we have a lot of people that you could ask if you have questions about events. Post in the Dreamers in Action page, Builders page, post in the Team Win Builders page. Just ask your questions about events. You're going to get so many people who are so good with such cool input. I know Lisa Travis talked to Ann, did a whole call. I think Ann and Holly gave them so many great tips. These are such good tips here, guys. You have what it takes to get this going, to create a fun community, have some fun yourself, make it fun. Don't make it weird. Timing of people. I love the idea of an event. Very functional, and you can keep doing them, keep practicing. You're going to have a lot of fun. So thank you everybody for joining. I know we've got some really cool things. Tonight's the Crystal Manager deadline. Anybody running for the Crystal Manager reset. And then next thing we're doing is we're running everybody to Crystal Director next. So Crystal Manager deadline. By the way, tomorrow is the last day for Supermix. If you haven't seen the March toolkit, the free gift coming up for March is going to be Nootropic, my favorite, my brain product, my brain absolute savior. So that's going to be that. And then we've got some great things coming, some big company announcements that are so fire. I'm fired up for it. And I hope you guys are too. I'm so grateful, feeling the movement, emotion, anything you need, we're here for it. Have a great night, everybody.